Euro Stoxx puts in nearly 200 ticks worth of move. This was the one where the real opportunity was. One comment alone then can be taken as this is the comment, this is the story, and then we run with it. You can see your performance levels explode. More opportunities will just speed up that skill acquisition phase. I thought I'd touch on the best day of the year last year, because whilst we had the immense volatility of April, and particularly those first few days of April, the biggest opportunities and the biggest broad-based performance came on the 23rd of May. This was a day where we got tariffs on tech companies and we got tariffs on Europe. So it had so many elements of it that lent in the right direction for broadly good performance. Those were the time of day. So just the timing of this generally. It was a good time of day. It's when you've got one of the highest levels of participation. So I don't just mean from our traders, but I mean from traders broadly. So you've got more and more scope for people to drive the moves when they happen. On top of that, we got two pieces of information that both aligned. You had tariffs on tech companies at 20 past 12, followed by tariffs on Europe that came 25 minutes later. Now, what makes this particularly good is that a lot of people are still short from these trades or this information as you approach this. So when you're already in a position, already on side, already up on the day, your ability to drive forward, to add more risk, to take more risk on is absolutely there. And it's a great example of not being happy with one performance and going, oh, well, that was good, I'll bank that. If you'd banked that, you might have had a reasonable day, but you would have missed out on one of the biggest opportunities of the entire year. And that's why you should never look at any day and think, yeah, that'll do. There could be another opportunity. And if there is, this is the kind of opportunity you really need to be trying to get onto. In terms of other contributing factors, theme relevance was high. So the whole performance around, the whole story around tariffs was still very much at the top of everyone's minds. We'd had a lot of the main story, the whole Liberation Day and all of that side of it. So everyone knew what the story was and where we were. But what we had got, or what we'd moved away from, was the high concentration. So what I mean by high concentration is when you're getting constant comment. These are situations where actually opportunities are not as great as you might think, because there is a reticence to get in and hold and drive positioning if you know that there could be another comment that could be contrary an hour later, a day later. Whereas when the sort of level of tariff-based commentary had diminished somewhat, one comment alone then can be taken as this is the comment, this is the story, and then we run with it. So there's a few different contributing factors to this. And I think it's always, key to sort of recognize some of those. But in terms of opportunity, this was it. That was the Apple tariff. And like I say, that's a decent move. Don't get me wrong. If you've got on that, you can be pretty pleased with yourself. You got about 20 handles out of it. But then you get this one. And that gives you about 70 plus handles. That's the significant part of this, right? Technically, this was wonderful because you got this break and then continuation down. So it all sort of matched up really, really nicely. That's the S&P. Then you've got Euro Stoxx. Euro Stoxx puts in nearly 200 ticks worth of move. This was the one where the real opportunity was. If you look at that Apple move up here compared to this one, and that continuation, that's a move of nearly 100 ticks in 2 minutes in Euro Stoxx. Euro Stoxx is not a market known for those types of moves. Technically, Euro Stoxx is beautifully set for it as well. You've got a really clean gap to be targeting down here. You've got lows to take out. Everything was set perfect for it, and then you get it. This is where people really perform. It's not just a comment. Not everyone is just a straight up news trader. but it's a comment that's got a technical structure. The other big trade on this was gold as well. And gold did again give you this explosive move towards the upside, simply because it was a run for safety. So that was your best day of 2025. It was a pretty impressive day, don't get me wrong. What we now also want to think about, and this is important for new traders in understanding the relevance of last year to a future year. So what we want to go and have a look at here then is this whole idea around reversion and managing expectations. A lot of the time, when people do exceptionally well, and this can go from a day-to-day basis as well, you see it so often. Someone has a standout day, a sort of better than or significantly better than average day, possibly their best ever day. And so often you see their performance drop the following day. Part of that is just reversion, that if you've got a kind of a level of performance that you can achieve, so let's say this is approximately your level, if you go way above that, so your day-to-day performance is going to sort of be around your level. If you go up here, you're almost inevitably going to fall back. What you have to remember is this does not mean that you are suddenly a better trader. This means that you have made the most of an opportunity put in front of you. Yeah, a lot of the time people look at trying to improve performance by trying to hold things longer. You take that trade that we just looked at. That's a trade not about trying to hold things longer. That's a trade that if you try to hold the Euro Stoxx for a 200 tick move on a day-to-day basis, you would never get a decent performance out of it, or almost never. That was a trade about recognizing an opportunity being there and capitalizing on it. That's what puts you beyond your mean, beyond your average. But you're not going to stay there unless you're presented with a similar opportunity. What you can do with something like this is then start to move your average up by being able to take on a bit more risk, increase your size before looking for a new jump in your day-to-day performance and then an increase in your average again. So on the whole, your average performance does grow, but your equity performance jumps at stages simply because of those bigger opportunities. Now we can look at that from a bigger perspective as well. If you take, say, yearly performance and you look at the average, if you will, of moving from down here to up here, well, what we can look at is, well, where have we performed, outperformed, underperformed? If you look at Q1, this is pretty much inline performance. If you're going to get to here at the end of the year, then that's pretty inline performance. Q2 is absolutely not. Q2 is a huge outperformance. It's very, very difficult to match that level of performance. So your expected performance for Q3, if you're following the same trajectory as the beginning of the year, should get you up here. So Q3 is an underperformance. And Q4 is also an underperformance. They've not only underperformed Q2, which was enormous, but they've also underperformed what would be expected if you were to get here in a nice straight line. And this is important to understand, that the only way you're going to get to a level like this is via big outperformances, not continued performance along this line, because this is an exceptional year. This is perhaps a more normal looking year. So normally you'd expect to get perhaps somewhere around here as a total for the year. Instead, last year was double. So if this is a more normal year, you may well find that actually this is a pretty solid period, both Q2, Q3. Q1 would have been a big outperformance and Q2 would have been absolutely exceptional. So you can't necessarily expect to see these levels of performance again. The only way you're going to get that level of performance again is if you get the environments that lean you towards that scale of opportunity. There's a big but in this, big caveat. This depends on where you are in your career. As your career progresses, your ability to outperform is more dependent upon environment and opportunities than it is at the beginning of your career. At the beginning of your career, your ability to outperform, your ability to take a year that ends here, so sort of move from zero to here, to take it to here, to take it to here, is not so much about the number of opportunities. It's about your ability to make something out of them and your skill level. As you skill up, your performance can grow year on year on year for probably 3 or 4 or 5 years because you're increasing the number of potential trades that you can take on. You're increasing the number of opportunities that you can participate in. Once you've, no one maxes out their skill, but it's very hard to continue to grow your skill at the same pace. So once you've got established in your career 5, 6, 7 years in, to increase your level of skill is actually very, very difficult because most of the skills that you can gain as a trader, you've probably got. So you're now more dependent upon opportunities. So we take this as a little example. If you're a junior trader, if you take the entire bar as number of opportunities on a year, let's say this is 2025. Same number of opportunities, whether you're junior or senior. Your P&L is the green line. Now, the reason that a senior trader's P&L is better is to do with their capacity to make the most of opportunities. Because they've got the skill sets, because they've seen these things before, they will make more of the opportunities. They will make money on more of those situations than a junior trader will. Now, the following year, let's say this is 2026, the number of opportunities reduce. Someone further down the line in their career, more senior trader, is going to still make the most of the opportunities that are presented. But with far less opportunities, even if they did well on every opportunity, would not be able to achieve the P&L of the previous year. A new trader, however, because of their upskilling, they can make the most of more opportunities. And so therefore their P&L can rise despite the fact the number of opportunities reduce because their efficiency is increasing. This is the stage of career that most of you guys are in, that you're at a point where you're upskilling. More opportunities, wonderful. But given less opportunities, as long as you're continuing to develop skill set, you can still perform or increase your P&L performance. So a lot of it is dependent upon where you are in your career. Early on, you should always be looking for career growth, sort of equity curve growth year on year. The further down the line you are, then you start to get to a point where your base level becomes, it doesn't stay flat, but the relative growth of your average performance grows much slower. And that's the important thing to bear in mind. You guys are at a stage where you can see your performance levels explode. More opportunities will just speed up that skill acquisition phase. For a senior trader, more opportunities present more chances to make money. And that's where they can have those outsized, standout type of years. So really important to recognize where you are in your career and what a year like last year means in terms of your expectations going forward.